Hi everybody and welcome to day 9 of our yoga challenge. We're in week 2. I'll have everybody come to their mat and get started in a seated wide-legged full position. Bringing your feet out. I usually try to just kind of stay within the realm of my mat, but since we haven't really warmed up, go as wide as you can. Come into your seated position and just let all the day's worries and to-do lists and everything just fall away. Don't think of them now. With an inhale, I want you to show your shoulders up towards your ears. With an exhale, lay your shoulder blades on your back, helping to elongate your spine. We're going to walk our hands out to the middle of our mat as far as we can go with our flat spine, having your toes flex back towards your face. And we'll be here for just a few moments. Take a few deep breaths here, thinking about the 4 count breathing that we talked about earlier this week, where you inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 4 counts. On an inhale, walk your hands back up, turn your torso to your right ankle, and walk your hands towards your right ankle, only as far as you can go, making sure to feel no pain. Take a few breaths here. Walk your hands back up to your upright position and turn your chest towards your left foot and walk your hands towards your ankle. Only as far as you can go, feeling no pain. Take a few breaths here. Walk your hands back up. Come to a neutral position. Bring your legs in to you, folding them for seated position. Bring your hands out wide. And on an inhale, we're going to sweep our hands overhead. Bringing your gaze towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, we're going to float our hands back down to our sides. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale your hands back down. Inhale your hands overhead. And on an exhale, you're going to float your right hand down to your side, arching your right hand to the right side of your mat, finding a nice stretch on your left side, making sure that you're bending from your waist and not your hips. If you'd like, you can roll your shoulder back just a little bit and shine your chest towards the ceiling for a little bit more of a chest opener. But if not, it's totally fine to keep your chest shined towards the side of your mat. And we'll take a few breaths here. On your next inhale, bring your right hand to meet your left. And on your next exhale, bring your left hand down to the mat beside you, and arch your right hand to the left side of your mat. Feel free to shine your chest towards the ceiling and look towards the ceiling for a bit of a heart opener here, or just leave your chest facing the side of your mat. We'll be here for a few breaths. On your next inhale, bring both of your hands up overhead. And on your exhale, float them down to your sides. Inhale, sweep your hands overhead. And on an exhale, bring your left hand to your right knee and bring your right hand a few inches out behind you for a spinal twist to the right. Making sure to only twist as deeply as you can. The next inhale, float both of your hands hands back up overhead. On an exhale, bring your right hand to your right knee, or to your left knee, and your left hand behind you a few inches for a spinal twist on the left. On an inhale, bring your hands back overhead, bring your hands through heart center, and come to standing. Meet at the top of your mat. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Heel toe your feet out a few to the edges of your mat. And find some movement here, rocking from side to side, getting a nice stretch in your groin. Let your head hang heavy and grab opposite elbows and sway back and forth, making circles with your head if you have the ability in your neck. Come to stillness. Heel toe your feet back to hip width distance apart. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands on your mat and step back to high plank, making sure to keep your tailbone tucked under, creating a long spine. Flow through your chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale for down dog. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Find movement here if you'd like. Walk your dog out. It's our first down dog of the day. On your next inhale, hop or step to the top of your mat. Come into forward fold or halfway lift. Exhale for forward fold. Sweep your hands overhead. Bring your hands to heart center. Come into mountain pose with your palms facing forward. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale for forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plank. Coming through to your chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. We'll be here for 3 breaths. On your next inhale, hop or step to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Sweep your hands overhead. Bringing your hands to heart center. Flow through your last sun salutation A at your own pace, meeting in down dog. Once you've come into down dog, we'll take 3 deep breaths here. Feel free to exhale loudly out of your mouth. I find this always helps relieve stress. On your next inhale, we're going to float our right foot towards the ceiling for 3-legged down dog. Bring your heel towards your buttocks and open your hip towards the side of your mat, keeping your shoulders square towards the mat. Getting a nice stretch in our hip flexors. On an inhale, bring your knee to nose and plant your foot between your hands, rising up into warrior 1. warrior one, our hands come overhead, and our back foot is angled towards the front of our mat. If you need a little bit more of a sturdy base, feel free to widen the stance between your right leg and your left leg. Your gaze can be towards the front of the ceiling or up towards the front of your mat or up towards the ceiling if you'd like. Challenging your balance here. We'll be here for a few breaths. Bring your hands down through heart center. We're going to lean into our bent leg and push off with our back leg, coming in to warrior three. You kind of want to think that you're making a capital T with your body. Your hands can stay in heart center if you'd like. They can come out to airplane wings with your palms facing down, or you can sweep them up by your ears. Whatever works best for you. And remember, if you fall out, that's okay, just come right back in. We'll be here for a few breaths. Start to stand up straight, bringing your left foot to meet your right, coming back in to mountain pose, bringing your palms facing forward. Sweep your hands overhead. Exhale for forward fold. Inhale for halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down on your mat. Flow through your chaturanga. Inhale for up dog. Exhale for down dog. We'll be here for 3 breaths. On an inhale, we're going to float our left leg towards the ceiling for 3-legged down dog. Bring your heel towards your glute and lift your hip up towards the sky for a nice hip stretch, making sure to keep your shoulders parallel to the mat. Flex your toes back towards your knee to protect your knee and to make this a little less of a passive pose. On an inhale, bring your knee to nose and plant your foot between your hands, coming into warrior one. Set up your stance here, making sure to lean into your left leg. You can keep your gaze towards the front of the mat, or you can bring it up towards the ceiling for a little bit of a challenge to your balance. We'll be here for a few breaths. Bring your hands down to heart center. Lean into your left leg and push off with your right, coming in to warrior three. Whatever you did on the right side with your hands, feel free to do them here. If you'd like to take a different stance with your hands, feel free to do it. We'll be here for a few breaths. And if you fall out, come back in. Begin to come upright, bringing your right foot to meet your left and meet at the top of the mat. Flow through a sun salutation A on your own, and we'll all meet in mountain pose at the end. Taking one breath in your down dog. Once we all in mountain pose, I want everyone to shift the weight into their left foot, bringing their thigh parallel, bringing the right thigh parallel to the mat. Bring your hands to heart center here if you'd like, or you can keep them at your hips. Begin to tilt forward, shooting your right leg back, coming into warrior three. Making sure that your hip is rolled towards the mat. Then we're going to gently bend into our standing leg, placing our right foot on the back of the mat for crescent lunge. Set up your stance here, making sure you've got great balance. If you need to widen the distance between your left leg and your right leg, do it here. And make sure that your knee never goes over your ankles. Making sure that your hips are squared towards the front of the mat. Once you have this set up, sweep your hands overhead for crescent lunge. We'll be here for 5 breaths, and with every breath I want you to think of rolling your shoulder blades down your spine, growing out through the top of your head, and with every exhale I want you to think about sinking into your bent leg just a little bit more. On your next exhale, bring your hands to heart center, plant your hands on your mat, shoot your leg out to meet your right leg, and flow through chaturanga. Take one deep breath in your down dog, and then come to the top of your mat. Bring your hands to your waist or heart center. Start to shift your weight over into your right foot, bringing your thigh parallel to the ground. Making sure your toes are flexed back. On an inhale, begin to teeter forward, shooting your left leg out behind you, coming into warrior three. On an exhale, we're going to bend into our standing leg and place our left foot at the back of our mat, coming in to crescent lunge. Once you've set up your crescent lunge, sweep your arms overhead. You can keep your gaze towards the front of your mat or towards the ceiling, and we'll be here for 5 breaths. With every breath, I want you to think about growing tall through your spine, and every exhale, I want you to think about sinking into your bent leg a little bit more. Exhale, float your hands down to the mat. Bring your right foot to meet your left and flow through your chaturanga. Taking one breath in your down dog. And step or hop to the top of your mat. Coming into halfway lift. Exhale for forward fold. Sweep your hands overhead. Everyone come into seated, shooting your feet out long in front of you. We're going to come into Lord of the Fish. So bend your left leg, bringing your right foot to the inside of your left leg. You can stay here if you like, or you can cross your right foot over your left thigh. And bring your right elbow, or your left elbow to meet your right knee. Coming into a twist with your hand about 6 inches maybe really more like a foot behind you. You can keep your left hand up like this if you'd like, or you can rest it along your right thigh, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you're in a twist, make sure your left toes are flexed back towards your face. Be here for a few more breaths. On your next inhale, bring everything back forward, placing your right leg out to meet your left, and bend your right foot, or bend your right knee, placing your heel flat on the mat. You can keep it here, you can cross it over your right leg, bringing your right knee or your right elbow to your left knee, twisting towards the back of your mat, placing your hand about a foot behind you, and we'll be here for a few breaths. Next inhale, bring your chest towards the front, shooting your left leg to meet your right. Bring your hands parallel to the mat and slowly lower down to your mat. Coming into corpse pose with your palms facing up, letting everything go here. Close your eyes and come into a resting position. If there's a cat right next to you, make sure to give it attention and pet it. And then come back in to your corpse pose. We're going to take an extra long corpse pose here. Begin to wiggle your toes in your hands. Bring a little bit of movement back into your body. If there's a giant cat on top of you, give it a kiss and then get it off of you. Rolling over to the right side, bringing your knees into your chest. Put yourself into seated position, crossing your legs, bringing your hands to your knees. Close your eyes here. Thank yourself for showing up to your mat. We're halfway through. I hope this is helping everyone stay calm, cool, and collected during this intense time, especially going into next week. Bring your hands to heart center. Bow your head. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.